Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So do you remember a few years back there was that band, I think they were from Chicago, the Plain White T's, they had that song, Hey There Delilah. Do you remember that song, Travis?
Yeah, I want to say that I wasn't the biggest fan when I first heard it, but it's one of those songs like you can't get it out of your mind.
Yeah, it was an earworm for sure. Those guys definitely had a moment. And I'm trying to remember how this happened, but I learned an important lesson in business economics from the guys in the Plain White T's. And how did I get to know them? I think I got to, it was when I was working for Sirius XM, and I think I sort of came across them and maybe handed their demo to like my boss at Alt Nation or something. I can't remember why I was connected with them, but somehow when they rolled through Houston several years back, they were like, hey, come and hang out. Come and be on our tour bus. And I don't know if you've ever been on a band's tour bus before. It's cramped, it's unpleasant, and you feel distinctly like you're in somebody else's space. And people feel like they're glad handing you when they invite you, want to come on the bus, or like record label reps were like, you want to come on their bus and hang out with them? No, I know. It's like I said, it's cramped, it's uncomfortable. Usually doesn't smell so good, and you get the distinct impression that you're in someone's space. Like, you live in bunks. And I know this from being a guy in a band that lived on a tour bus for a significant period of my life. If somebody leans against the wall, they're probably putting their hand in your bed. Like there's nothing cool, hip, or glamorous about it. Like I've heard of these crazy ass tour bus parties that happened, and I've never, even though I had a tour bus, never once was party to any of that. And I suppose there might be a certain level of rock and roll debauchery that you might be witnessing if you step onto a tour bus, but I don't know. Never seen it. So anyways, in my interest to get the hell out of the Plain White T's tour bus after having been glad-handed and invited onto the tour bus, which I think was, to be fair to those guys, they were just, cool, easygoing dudes. They're like, hey, come in and hang out. All right. But now I want to get out. Like I've been here 5 seconds. It's cool. We've done the thing. Hey, you want to go get some food, before you guys play? Why don't we, not be in here? And I think it was the drummer. I can't remember which one. And bear in mind, this is a band from Chicago. It was like, oh yeah, totally. I saw Chipotle. I'm going to Chipotle. That sounds great. Shall we go get Chipotle? I was like, Chipotle. And he's like, yeah. You're from Chicago, right? A place known for its great food, but not necessarily its great Mexican food. Yeah. And you're here in Houston, Texas, home of some of the greatest Mexican food on the face of the planet. It's interesting. The two places that I work, where I spend most of my life, Houston and San Diego. San Diego is literally 20 minutes from Mexico. And I'm always like in San Diego eating tacos or burritos or something going, how are we 20 minutes from Mexico and the Mexican food is better in Houston? Like, what's the deal with that? So there's almost a bit of a Mexican standoff when it comes to Mexican food. There's the Tex-Mex rivalry and the Cali-Mex rivalry. And if you've seen it up close and personal, people take it very seriously. We had the dudes in POD who are from San Diego come to Houston, Texas, and we talked about Mexican food. And I think Marcos, the guitar player of the band, he was like, I've never really had a decent taco in Texas.
Really?
Yeah. So we sent them to, I sent them to Torchy's.
Oh, Torchy's is amazing.
Torchy's is amazing. And I was like, did you go eat Torchy's? And he was like, it was okay. I was like, what the hell is wrong with your taste buds? Like, does your proximity to the border cause them to be broken? Like, there's some things I mess around with. There's some things that I'm willing to take other people's opinions into account, but this is not opinion. This is not culture. This is not a matter of, I can prove this on a home computer. Texas tacos are better than any other tacos anywhere else.
That's just one of those things, though, that when you get somebody like that who has it stuck in their head that they're not going to like the food, you could have served him a golden taco and it's still not going to be good enough.
Here's the thing that I've noticed about Tex-Mex versus Cali-Mex. Tex-Mex is lot more heavy on the seasonings, like it's a more flavorful experience. And I think a lot of the California types are like, why do you need all these different things seared into the surface of the meat? What would be wrong with just eating meat, and so I don't know. There's that rivalry, but nevertheless, Texas is home to some of the greatest Mexican food on the face of the planet. And so when the guy at the plain white tees guy looked at me and said, sure, let's get off of this tour bus and let's go eat some Chipotle. I was like, really? You come all the way to Texas and you're going to Chipotle? Why? And I'll never forget his answer. It was an illuminating thing.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
So there I am on this band from Chicago's tour bus. I've been invited on, and as I was saying earlier, being in somebody else's tour bus is very strange. It's like being in somebody else's home, someone else's very, very small home. It usually smells something akin to marijuana, beer, and a gym sock. And it's not, the glamorous experience it's been made out to be. So I am looking for any excuse, literally any excuse to get out of there. And I say, you want to go get some food? And one of the guys in plain white tees says, yeah, I want to go get Chipotle. I'm like, interesting. Very, very interesting, because you're from Chicago, which is a city known for its great food, but not necessarily its great Mexican food. Meanwhile, you travel all the way to Houston, a city known to have some of the greatest tacos, burritos, nachos, all of the above on the face of the freaking planet, and you choose Chipotle. Not a knock on Chipotle, but just a denial of some of the some delicious yum-yums. You're denying yourself all sorts of amazingness. I was like, is it because you just know what you're getting? He's like, that's exactly it. It's the consistency. I know what I'm going to get. And it's interesting because when you're a guy or girl in a band, and you're looking for food, oftentimes you do sort of go from state to state, and you're like, what can I eat that I know isn't going to give me dysentery? Or what can I eat that I know is going to be worth my $10 a day food per diem, or whatever it is? And so you do wind up in chains an awful lot, because you want moons over my hammy, or you want the Cracker Barrel salad, or you want whatever the hell it is from Chipotle that you love from Chipotle. And that was my lesson in business economics that I got from the plain white tees. Consistency. Consistency is an incredibly important thing when it comes to food. People want to know what it is they're about to eat before they put it in their mouth. And if they like it, they want to be able to look forward to it and be like, oh, it's going to be awesome. I know exactly what this is going to be. I know exactly what this is going to be when I put it into my mouth and chew it. It's exactly what I've been hoping for and thinking for and waiting for the last 75 miles on the road. I know we're getting to a town that has Chipotle. I know we're getting to a town that has a Denny's. I know we're getting to a town that has a Cracker Barrel, or any of the above. Like, think about it. If you'd been out of Texas for a little while, Travis, and all of a sudden you came home and there was a Whataburger there, you'd probably be pretty stoked, because you know that Whataburger is going to taste exactly like you want it to taste. Wait, isn't that their slogan? Just the way you like it, or something like that?
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually had this discussion with a general manager of a TGI Fridays at one point, and he was talking to me about like struggles that they face, and consistency was one of the things that he stressed. And he said, the funny thing about it is, nothing against McDonald's, but McDonald's is not some gourmet food, overall, and yet people continually go to McDonald's, and the reason is because they know exactly what they're going to get at McDonald's. No matter if you're in Seattle, or if you're in Chicago, or if you're in Miami or New York, a Big Mac is going to taste like a Big Mac, and it all goes back to consistency.
And that's what you want. That's really what you want. And enter Flippy the Robot. I'm excited about Flippy the Robot.
I saw this, and it's very interesting. I'm curious as to where you're going to go with Flippy the Robot, though.
Well, Flippy the Robot is... There's a place called Cali Burger in California. It's a fast food restaurant in California. And they've got a burger flipping robot called Flippy to cook in their kitchen. You know what we were saying about consistency? Well, the CEO of Cali Burger, do you have the article there? What did he say about consistency? It was pretty good.
I do. He says it's the key to success. And now anytime when you go to a Cali Burger, you know that the patty's going to be cooked exactly the same every single time. It makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. It's not just, I looked at it and I was like, oh, interesting. Is this the thing that's going to put $15 an hour fast food workers out of business? But it's so much more than that. Like this robot, and we all saw it coming. It has thermal imaging. It has 3D and camera vision. So it knows the temperature of the patties, and it knows when to flip them and when they're done. There's no mystery behind it.
And isn't there like some AI aspect to it as well? Like it learns to cook better as it cooks, which is actually a scotch frightening.
Exactly. No, it's true. Like every single burger it cooks, supposedly it learns more. So every burger that it cooks, the next one's even better.
So the more
it's weird, right?
The more that Flippy flips, the smarter Flippy gets. By the way, I would go to I wonder if they have him. I wonder if they have Flippy the robot sequestered in the back kitchen, or if you can go watch the burger making robot. Because I would go to a Cali Burger, never having been there before, but I would go to a Cali Burger just to watch a robot cook a burger. I wonder if they anthropomorphize the robot and give it a little chef's hat and stuff, so it becomes this sort of endearing thing.
It would be almost like going to a Waffle House, where you can actually watch them cook your food. I'm trying to think. You have Waffle House in California?
Waffle House? I was like, Waffle House? How is this like going to a Waffle House? You can't watch Kid Rock get into a fight at 4 a.m. at a Cali Burger.
Oh my God. How you can, the kitchen is right there, which is also part of the dining room, and you can watch the human cook your food at the Waffle House.
You watch the human cook your food. That would be really cool. I would love to watch Flippy the robot cook my burger.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah. I mean, and you brought up the interesting thing that a lot of people look, I'm never a person that would ever judge what somebody else does for a living. I haven't walked a mile in your shoes. I don't know how difficult or easy it is to perform your task. I don't know what the intrinsic value of what you do to make a living is. I don't, and I would never be bold enough to weigh in on that. But you know who will? Your boss and the company that you work for, which brings me to a very interesting point.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So did you see the story about this guy who wants to sue? Well, he's suing multiple stores. He wants to sue Walmart and Dick's because they refused to sell him a gun. You catch this one? That's an interesting legal precedent that's being set, and we'll discuss exactly what's going on with that a little later on in the show. But now back to Flippy, the fast food burger robot. I'm in love with the idea of Flippy. Now, Flippy, according to John Miller, the CEO of Cali Burger, Flippy's not trying to take jobs from anyone. How do they describe it, Travis? There is a way that they
say it's like it's a third hand. They say that, he's just there to help, and he will work alongside the humans. He still requires a human. The human has to, the human actually loads the burger onto the cooktop.
Mm-hmm.
And the human has to put toppings on and cheese on and stuff like that. And the robot is just there hanging out, looking, learning about the burgers. And then he's like, oh, time to flip this thing.
Right. Yeah. It's artificial intelligence. The more burgers Flippy flips, the smarter Flippy gets.
Yeah.
Flippy uses thermal imaging, 3D, and camera vision to sense when to flip and when to remove. Now, they say this is a third hand and that a human coworker is still necessary. If this robot uses thermal imaging to figure out when to fix a burger, I'm going to guess that it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from being able to load up its own raw hamburger meat or its own raw patties and be able to perform all the tasks and make the human component of it unnecessary. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not here to tell you what the value of a job is worth. I do one or two things, and I've done maybe 5 things in my lifetime, and I've got an idea of what my value is and how unique and special the services I've performed in the past are, and therefore I've got a reasonable argument to make about the value of the things that I do. That's what I understand. Far be it from me to, in a half-assed sort of way, pass judgment on what anybody else does, because you never get the full picture until you're in the trenches. However, you know who is going to judge your performance and what you're worth happily and cut you happily? The company you work for. The company you work for will happily go, oh my gosh, Flippy the Burger Flipping robot can do that twice as fast, more accurately. And not only that, people are going to pay extra to show up and watch Flippy cook. It's like an animatronic burger cooked for you. This is burger of the future. This is fantastic. I think for me, like the big attraction to Flippy the Burger Flipping robot would be seeing Flippy in action. Like I said, I'd be willing to pay more per burger just to watch it get made by a robot, especially if they made it cute, give it a little mustache, perhaps an apron, a chef's hat. I'd be so in. I'm such a sucker for that sort of thing.
One of the interesting things, though, is if you think about it, a lot of people's complaints about fast food is people getting the humans getting the order wrong.
Yeah.
And we're just inches away. Have you used the app to order your own food at Taco Bell?
No, but one of the things I appreciate about Taco Bell is the consistency. Like, I know if I'm getting a grilled stuffed burrito, it's going to taste like the last 23 grilled stuffed burritos that I ate that week. I might have a grilled stuffed burrito problem.
I'll tell you, they're so good, by the way. But I'll tell you, the thing that's so funny about it is, you know, if you use the app and you make the order yourself, there's no additional human to mess it up. If you mess up the order, you're to blame. If you look at the app and you're like, hey, I forgot to add this, or I accidentally didn't tell it no onions, and that's why there's onions on my burger. All of a sudden, you take away the human concept altogether, and you're the one putting in the order, and then the robot cooks the order specifically how you put it into the app. There's really no more accidental errors that are going to happen on orders. So Flippy doesn't specifically do this. A human puts your order in and all that stuff, but we're steps away from you being responsible for exactly how your order goes in, and then a robot cooks it exactly how you told it to. Fast food orders being wrong is getting close to being a thing of the past.
Well, I mean, you know, there's the old tomato or onion thing for me. You know, no onion, no tomato. Here's your burger with extra onion and tomato.
Exactly.
Like, they just and look, I'm not here to be a prophet of doom. I'm not here to say, oh, Flippy's coming for your job. I'm here to say that, look, there's a reality of the situation. And everybody's panicking that, you know, robots are coming to take their gig. Like, I think I saw, I can't even remember. It was some job website, you know, fear mongering. Like, you hear that, you know, a robot is coming to take your job. Better update the old resume. And here's the thing. I think this is an important moment to be alive. I think that this is something that if you pay attention to it, could propel you to the greatest part of your life. And if you ignore it, could have the exact opposite effect. You could be a down in the dumps working for Flippy mofo. You'd be
my
Flippy's
stupid boss
assistant.
is a robot.
Yeah. You laugh,
but it's true.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that this is actually going to happen. Your boss could be a robot, or you could recognize the sign of the times that we're living in and go, you know what? This is the best time to be alive, and I'm going to figure out what it is that I've got. Everybody's got their something, the old expression goes. Everybody's got something special and unique and different and awesome to offer the world. And These are the signs. These are the signs that now is the time to start thinking about them. What can you do that nobody else can do? What do you have to offer that no one else can offer? Because as we do enter this age of digital technology, as we do enter this age of robotic burger flipping cooks, the human element is going to become that much more important. So maybe for people that feel like they were relegated to something like a fast food job, and I'm not saying that, it's an unhappy existence. There might be people that have done very well doing that.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe there's people that do that and aren't happy. Maybe they don't like being on their feet. Maybe they don't like being in the kitchen. Maybe they don't like the heat. Maybe this is a time to let that motivate you and think about what it is you have to offer, and think about how what you have to offer, what's special and unique and awesome about you, is going to help you forge your own path in this life. So I think Flippy the Burger Flipping Robot is not only a charming thing that I can't wait to see in action. Flippy the Burger Flipping Robot is a sign of the times that we want to pay attention to, and we want to use to spur us on to the greatest moment of our life. There you go. By the way, did you know that we are allegedly living in the greatest time to be alive, Travis?
I have always tried to find the positive in everything, and I just find that life is so much easier when you find it. I mean, not every level of the game of life is going to be your favorite, but you have to beat the level you're on to go to the next one. So I'm always really positive. So I believe that. But no, I mean, if there's a study out that says this or something, I would be very interested in hearing what they have to say, because I really do believe that. I think it's an incredible time to be alive.
I mean, there are stats and stats and stats stacked upon other stats about how being optimistic is good for your health. It can even save your life if you're dealing with serious illness. So here's some stuff to be grateful for. Stats that prove that this is the best time in human history to be alive. Even if you look out your window every single morning and go, what craziness is waiting for me? Even if you pick up your phone or the newspaper or watch TV and go, oh my God, we're all going to hell in a handbasket quickly. We're all going to burn for eternity with good reason. And here's the thing. The average American now has way more disposable income than they used to. In 1929, we spent over 60% of our income on basic necessities. Basic necessities. Now it's about 30%. We spend way less time on chores than we did 100 years ago, thanks to folks like Flippy the Burger Flipping Robot. In 1920, the average family spent 11.5 hours a week just on laundry. Now it's an hour and a half. Although I got to tell you, man, laundry is a never-ending battle around here. Like, I'm just like, how is it possible? Like, I wear the same thing every single day. I've got like 5 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of jeans, and about 15 t-shirts that I rotate. But you know what it is? It's the sheets. It's the blankets. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm kind of a clean freak with in that respect.
I was going to say, this tells me that I'm not doing my my sheets and my blankets enough, because when you said that, I was like, really? How often should I be cleaning those?
Oh my gosh. And I hate it. I love nothing more than clean sheets. Oh, they're the absolute best. And when you get into them, it's like being delivered to a heavenly night of sleep by a band of softly lullabying angels. When you take a shower and it's a really hot shower and you've got crisp, fresh sheets and you slide between those things and you're lulled off to sleep. Oh, it's the greatest. But then day 2, still pretty good. Day 3, these are not fresh sheets anymore. These are just sheets. And
you washing the sheets every 3 days?
No, every week, I think, new sheets every week. That's if I go longer than a week, then I start to feel something's horribly, horribly wrong.
Okay, note to self, wash the sheets.
Note to self. Well, I mean, that's just, I don't know. You could probably find some sort of stat, but nevertheless, laundry is something that used to take 11 and a half hours a week back in the day. Now, for the average family, it's just an hour and a half. You know what else is good about living in 2018, Travis? Literacy. Yeah, I know we make jokes about how people don't read anymore or can't read anymore, or they just look at pictures on Instagram, therefore their ability to read is going down the toilet. But literacy rates have skyrocketed. Learning to read used to be something that only rich people could do. Like if you weren't of a certain economic station and you were caught learning to read, a lot of people thought, "Oh no, how are we gonna keep the information out of the hands of the commoner? Like we'll never maintain all the money and power if people learn to read. They're gonna learn to read, then what? Then what?" Learning to read used to be something that only rich people could do, but now the worldwide literacy rate is about 83%. And for younger people between 15 and 24, it's over 90%. That's worldwide. It's pretty cool, right?
That's awesome.
Also, at what point do you think you can expect to kick the bucket?
Oh, man. I think I'll die a lot sooner than the normal person, but I think, like, normal people, don't they live to, like, 79 or 80?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Life expectancy is way the hell up. Well, but hold on, why do you think you're going to die early?
I don't know why I said that. Because now I'm trying to. I don't know. I just have this feeling.
You know what? You actually, statistically speaking, you do things like diving. You spend a lot of time on boats. You plan to sail deep sea. You've been a cop. You've been a boat cop. The activities that you're involved in, professionally speaking, I think would cut into your life expectancy just because you're a man of action and adventure. So that sort of. I hate to say it, but that sort of makes sense. Be careful.
If I live to 50, I'm going to be shocked. I mean, but I'll be dead. That's the thing. So it's not like it's that big of a deal for me, But yeah, I'm thinking 50 is probably if I'm lucky.
Well, if you're not Travis Golightly, life expectancy is way up. It's right around 79%, right around 79 in the U.S., which is almost a decade longer than it was 50 years ago. In the mid-1700s, worldwide life expectancy was just 29 years old. Now it's 71.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine getting to 15 and being middle-aged?
Oh, that's funny.
29. I don't know. I'm one of those people that feel like I didn't even start to get things figured out until I turned 30. So, like, imagine. I'm trying to think of me at age 29. I was an idiot. If I checked out at 29, I feel like I really would have missed out on some stuff. And finally, democracy is more widespread than ever before. About 2/3 of the world's population now live in free or relatively free countries. In 1950, it was closer to 1/3. And in 1850, it was only 7%. So there you go. It's an amazing time to be alive. And there are all sorts of difficult hurdles to navigate. We are in a period of unbelievably rapid change. Flippy the Burger Flipping robot might be coming for your job, but you know what? If you ride the wave of that change, if you pay attention to the signals around you, if you start to focus on what it is that you can offer that's unique, that's special, that is your gift to the world, it will perhaps propel you to the greatest period of your life in what is arguably the greatest time to be alive.
Sometimes you just know you're done. You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away. Radio. Radio. 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
So you know how we just talked about how now is the greatest time to be alive? A lot of people look at stuff like this and go, really? You sure about that? Is it really the greatest time to be alive? Have you seen the words that have been added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary? The English language keeps on changing for the better. Dear God, no. Which words do you think have been added to the English language dictionary over the last year? Have a think, have a guess, see if you're right, and we'll get into it right after comedian Dave Attell finishes thrilling us with his tale about the origin of tada, the word tada.
Now, this is New York. This is like the house music capital. You got to work it. You got to push it. I don't got to do anything. I don't like being ordered around by my music, all right? Take it down a notch. Just a little bit. There's one guy, the worst guy in the music, the Yanni man. You know Yanni, right? First of all, anyone who looks like a magician and doesn't do magic, I don't like. I don't even like magic. I hate it, but I love the word. Ta-da! I love that word. Even like... I don't get to say it, right? I never do any magic. You can't just walk around going, ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. The only time I can say it is when I do something really stupid or surprising. Like if I go out drinking all night, hitting strip clubs, and I come home and I still got some money. Ta-da! I thought I was broke. Why does my jaw hurt now?
So having gone over the origin of the word ta-da and how it's not something that can be used by everyone, have a guess. Which words do you think wound up in the English language dictionary in 2018?
I don't have a clue. I'm trying to think of words that are like somewhat normal, or not even normal, but somewhat new words that are used in a normal way that haven't really been around for. I don't have a clue.
All right. Let me give you a clue. Ripple.
Okay.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Those are, when you said Ripple, I thought Bitcoin. So I didn't get the first one. I got the second one only because you prompted me.
Right. Gotcha. Cryptocurrency has been added to the English language dictionary. It is, quote, any form of currency that only exists digitally using a decentralized system to record transactions. So cryptocurrency. Mansplain is also in there.
Oh my God. I love to mansplain to people just because it's such a ridiculous thing.
Just because, here's the thing, I know you're not a Cro-Magnon chauvinistic dunderhead. No. So I don't think just the way you said that, I don't think you know the true meaning of the word mansplain, which means you're not truly mansplaining.
Oh, I think I do, but maybe not. We'll see.
That's when you explain something to a woman in a condescending way that assumes that she has no knowledge about the topic. Like if you went to your ship's captain and said, here's the thing about being a ship's captain, that would be mansplaining to your ship's captain.
I do. I'm such a big fan of this. So the other day, I really, and don't get me wrong, I don't do it in a truly derogatory way. Because I'm not the kind of person, like, I couldn't really talk down to you if I were trying. So the difference between a piece of rope and what you would call on a ship, or in the maritime industry, a line is a piece of rope that has a purpose. And so I was joking around with her the other day, and I said, oh, do you want me to bring that rope in off the back deck? And she looked at me, and jokingly, she had a funny look on her face, and she said, do you mean the line on the back deck? And I said, no, I mean the rope. She kind of looked at me, and I said, do you know what the difference between rope and line is? And of course she does. She's the captain. And she said, what's the difference? I said, rope is rope. Line is rope that has a purpose. And I smiled, and she said, oh, okay. She said, so what's the purpose of the rope on the back deck? I said, to become a line. Technically, I was right. And then she had me bring the line in.
Because she's your boss.
She's my boss. Yeah. And she probably had me take it somewhere that is completely unnecessary and then run it all around the boat because it's a punishment. But yeah, anyway, I love the man's
punishments. Life hack is another word that's made it into the Merriam-Webster dictionary. A usually simple and clever tip or technique for accomplishing something familiar, for some familiar task more easily and more efficiently. I've never heard this one. Hate watch?
Hate watch?
Yeah, that's a verb. When you hate watch something, you're watching and taking pleasure in laughing at or criticizing. Like, I guess you could hate watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians would be the most obvious thing, or any television show about housewives that were real in one city or another.
I have better things to do than to hate watch. Oh my God.
Glamping Outdoor camping with like glam camping. Outdoor camping with amenities and comforts such as beds, electricity, and access to indoor plumbing not usually used when camping.
Yeah.
So like when you get a cabin, in other words. Although, like, I think there's a lot of people that romanticize the tent. So there's like campgrounds you can go to where it's a tent set up around basically a fully functioning apartment that doesn't have a roof. They just plunk a tent over it. It's easier than building a cabin. They call it glamping, and they take more money from you. Good job.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Way to move the economy forward. And finally, to people that would say that the English language is going down the tubes quickly, number 6 that made it into the Merriam-Webster dictionary, I think, would support that argument. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire is now in the English language.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Well, like, say you're on your tugboat, your very well-run, efficient tugboat that your captain rules with an iron fist inside a velvet glove.
She's mean.
A place where a place where people are happy and efficient and perform their tasks well. And then you look at another tugboat and go like, oh boy, they are not as efficient, nor are they as well trained as the rest of us, and they make many mistakes. There's such a dumpster fire. Like, that's a dumpster fire of a tugboat. It is, and I quote, an utterly calamitous or mismanaged situation or occurrence. Yep, that's what it is. And that means that in just a little bit, we will continue this dumpster fire of a show.
This feels so understand.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So you know how in light of Flippy the Burger Flipping robot, we've been talking about how people in 2018 should start thinking about what makes them special, what they have to offer, what's going to help them figure out what they've got to give the world that's going to lead them to a bigger, better, more beautiful version of their life. One where they're not playing second fiddle to a burger flipping robot, Travis.
Right.
I like to think of life in those optimistic terms. I like to think that if you really go after life and you wrestle it into submission, you beat it down, you make moves, you make little changes every single day, you can drive yourself into an awesome, awesome place. No matter what sort of like struggles and setbacks you experience, if there's life in the old body, you can find a way to move it forward. Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, this is in stark contradiction to my rather optimistic worldview, I find. Perhaps I've been doling out shabby advice on this show. The smartest, most talented people never wind up the most successful.
So it was all for nothing, really.
Well, okay. Look, you ever have those moments where you wonder how all these idiots are making a fortune doing things like YouTube pranks or teaching you how to tie a tie on YouTube
every day,
or even
every day.
Or even being your boss. Meanwhile, you're so much smarter and you have like $32 in the bank.
Yeah.
This is apparently the answer. Researchers at the University of Catania in Italy studied people over 40 years. So it's a decent sample size of folks and time. But they studied people over 40 years to find the connection between brains, talent, and financial success. And they found that the smartest and most talented people are never the ones who make the most money. Literally never. So how do less talented or intelligent people rise higher? 2 words, and I quote, pure luck. The researchers say, quote, some degree of talent is necessary to be successful in life, but almost never do the most talented people reach the highest peaks of success, being overtaken by mediocre but sensibly luckier individuals.
Interesting.
There you go. You're going to be overtaken by someone with better luck. Here's the thing, though. I agree in a morbid sort of way that the talented and intelligent often fall woefully short of the mark when it comes to getting up in the world. And I think there's a reason for that. If you are talented and intelligent, I think there's a predisposition to believe that you don't have to put in the old elbow grease the way other people do. I'll give you a perfect example. I walked out of high school. I walked out of the 11th grade and into a major label record deal. Everything fell into place. Literally everything fell into place. I tried. I wrote the best songs I could write. I put on the best shows I could put on. But that was sort of the extent of it. I would write songs for part of the day. I would play them live for the other part of the day. And magically, the dominoes fell. I wound up with a massive major label record deal. I wound up with a whole bunch of money in my pocket. I was a teenager with a credit card, living life on a tour bus. It was fantasy land. And I just thought I was propelled forward by my talent. People looked at me, people at the record label were like, oh, this kid's so talented. You wrote these songs, you played drums on these songs, you produced these songs. You are a talented kid. This is fantastic. You're going to rule the world. You're going to be a billionaire by the time you're 25. You're going to be washed up at 24, but be a billionaire at 25, and everything's going to be fine. And, when you're 17, 18, 19 years old and people are telling you this stuff, you go, okay, that's how the world works. I've got talent, and that's going to take me where I need to go in life. Cut to multinational company buys my record label, disintegrates it. I'm out on the road with a single that's in the top 40, and they go, hey, there isn't really a record label anymore. You need to bring the tour bus back. And I went, but I'm so talented. They're like, yeah, that doesn't really that doesn't really change the situation. Seagram's bought Polygram, and that thing that was paying you money up until this point no longer really exists. Come home, bring the tour bus back, and we got to go through some of your tax debt. It was a stark contrast. And I really, in a lot of ways, very much regret the string of incredible good fortune and luck that I had with the world lining up and recognizing my talent, because it gave me a distorted view of the world that let me believe that I could maybe fall back on this talent, and talent would take me the places where I needed to go. And I saw pretty quickly when I delivered a pizza to the multi-million-dollar recording studio where I'd made my album a year earlier that my talent only got me so far. Yeah. It was a sobering moment. Now, since then, I have discovered the joy and value of hard work, and things have been okay. But I think a lot of the time, the smartest and most talented people, you spend a lot of time getting told that you're smart and talented, and you just got to go out there and be smart and talented, and that's pretty much it. It's one thing that I really admire about artists that have managed to turn their art into a living. Like, I got a family member who's an industrial designer. Unbelievably talented artist. Like, the fact that you have to be talented to be an industrial designer is, you can't dispute it. It's just true. It's a fact. This kid had to be so unbelievably talented, which he is. But then he kind of looked at life and went, what's a practical application of this talent that's going to allow me to eat and pay rent? And he figured that out. And I really admire people in the artistic world that manage to do that. My sister is an artist. My sister is an artist that grew up loving animation and comic books and figured out how to turn that into her job. And then what was interesting was, I'll never forget, my sister was in college with a bunch of artsy-fartsy types, and no disrespect to art and talent. I think, without art, without culture, without all these things, life in many ways becomes pointless. So I have tremendous respect for artists and people that pursue the creation of art. But I remember her getting her first job working at a comic book place, and she was working for Archie Comics. And I was like, this is going to be really good for you. And she was like, yeah, I've always wanted to work in comics. So I was like, no, this is going to be really good for you, because you're going to be surrounded by people like you who are artistic, people who are incredibly talented, but they are the tip of the iceberg, in that these are the people that figured out how to turn their art and their talent into a living. These are the people that figured out the practical everyday application of their art. These are the people that are making the dream happen. These are the people that are professional artists and not people that have a bunch of paint and a bunch of brushes and are, bartending to support their art habit while calling themselves an artist. It's very, very important to recognize that talent is only going to get you part of the way. So that's the other part of the equation. And I think that's why the smartest, most talented people never wind up the most successful. Not because they don't have the talent to merit it, but because oftentimes you forget to couple that with truly hard work. And there's joy in that. So get crack-a-lackin'. Don't become second fiddle to Flippy the Burger Flipping robot. By the way, I can't tell you how much I love it that they called him Flippy, because to me, it reminds me of The Simpsons. You know how whenever they have like Stampy the elephant, Pinchy the lobster, when Homer has a pet lobster. What was the episode of The Simpsons? Doesn't he eat Pinchy at the end? And like he doesn't share. They're like, Dad, you're not sharing the lobster. And he's eating Pinchy the lobster, his pet lobster, and crying while he's doing it. He's like, Pinchy would have wanted it that way.
Oh my God. The Simpsons is one of those shows that I love it. I really do. But when it's on, I'm probably not going to watch it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's me or if it's just the show. Like, The Simpsons and South Park are both shows like that to me. I love them, and when I do watch them, I wonder why I don't watch them more often. I think they're both timeless, and I think they're both ingenious. But if I'm flipping through the TV and I flip on and it's there, I'm probably going to keep flipping, and I don't know why.
All right.
Do you know what I mean? Is it because I'm a guy? Is it because I'm an idiot? I mean, do you do things like this?
Sure, Flippy. I also flip through. No, I like Simpsons and South Park are perfect examples of things that I don't plan my day around. Like if I am flipping around and they happen to be on, I often watch them and go, why don't I watch this all the time? I don't know why, but I'm not gonna. Yeah. But it's one of those things. I don't know. I think it's because I don't have a ton of space for extra viewing in my life, and there you go. But I think at one point I will probably binge watch all the Simpsons. Like I think they're all on Netflix, so I'll start at the beginning and just watch all 25 years of them. Oh yeah. That was a serious. And I think that's why. Like I want to start at the beginning because I know there's so many that I've missed. That's probably why I don't watch it. Like I know I've missed a bunch, and I want to kind of like binge watch them all in order. Which, as I say, it sounds like a wildly stupid thing to do because there's just so many episodes. But that's a serious chunk of my life to watch. Like I don't know, 25, 30 years of The Simpsons. Hey, we got to talk about this dude super quick who's suing Walmart and Dick's for refusing to sell him a gun. What do you know about this?
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is actually a really, really funny story. The guy's name is Tyler Watson, and he's 20 years old, which is actually a very important thing that's going to play into this whole story. He's 20 years old, and he lives in Oregon. He's suing Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart for refusing to sell him a .22 caliber Ruger rifle. He originally tried to buy the gun at Field & Stream, which is owned by Dick's, and they wouldn't sell it to him because they have that new policy that prohibits selling firearms to anyone under the age of 21. So a few weeks later, he tried to buy the rifle at Walmart, who also refused to sell because their new policy also requires buyers to be 21 years old. So Oregon state law allows residents who are 18 or older to buy shotguns and rifles. However, store policy says that you have to be 21. He's suing them for age discrimination.
Wow. That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Age discrimination. I was wondering where they were going. I mean, here's the thing. We live in America. No shirt, no shoes, no service. The management reserves the right to refuse service, all the above. That's part of the free market economy that we are all participating in on a regular basis. If you own a store, you get to do what the hell you want to do with that store. But calling it discrimination is an interesting one. Your policy is discriminatory. That's, you know what? He's going to find some lawyer to take his case, who's going to get the publicity out of it. But that's really a freaking stretch, dude.
It's one of those things that, I mean, I guess it's the perfect example of working the system in the sense that this is what the system is in place for. If you can actually afford an attorney who's going to take this case, it's going to cost you...
Well, you don't have to afford an attorney. The attorney's going to do it for the publicity. And, I mean, they're going...
Do you actually think he's going to win this? I mean, there's no way
you never lose. This is 2018. People don't lose. Like, of course he'll lose. Of course, it's the store's right to decide in these sensitive times who they're going to sell guns to and who they're not going to sell guns to. And the attorney will lose, but there's no loss in this day and age. All you have to do is deny. Nope. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, if you're willing to believe what you read in the Washington Post about me losing, fine. Continue drinking the Kool-Aid, idiots. Oh, you're willing to believe what that judge said? # not my judge. Alternative facts. Fake news. There's no actual losing anymore. So some lawyer will be more than willing to take this case, and some lawyer will do it for the publicity, and they'll get that publicity. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me use a word from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. What a dumpster fire.